1.5. We will now start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a moment of silence. Roll call.
Committeewoman Dr. Caldwell. Committeewoman Ms. Maddox Pantine. Present. Committeeman Mr. Carr.
Present.
Committeewoman Ms. Mungo.
Present.
Mayor Henley.
Present.
Also present is the Township Solicitor, the Township Clerk, Township Administrator, the Deputy Township Administrator, the Police Chief, and the Fire Official, and Public Works Director.
We will now have a workshop on our annual 2025 annual municipal budget, introduced by Mr. John Barrett, CFO, as presenter of the proposed 2025 municipal budget.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to present the budget to you this year. We have worked over the last few weeks in order to provide a spending plan that's obviously balanced in respect to our appropriations equaling our revenues, in addition to working on initiatives and contractual obligations associated with this year's operations. This year, we have a levy that is increasing by about $469,000. $242,000 of that has to do with mandated pension increases as well as capital improvement funds. Based on our 2% levy cap, which was enacted back in 2010, we could have raised taxes an additional about $358,000, which would be an additional 3 cents on the taxes. And through your leadership and your guidance and the administrator and deputy administrator, we were able to tighten our belts in order to achieve our goals at this moment. The net valuation taxable, which is the valuation of all properties that are associated in the municipality that are outside of tax-exempt properties, such as this municipal building, schools, and those type of things, they increased $29 million year over year. So that's a good, healthy increase year over year. So what does that translate into? Whenever asked how much does a penny raise in taxation, in 2024, it raised about $119,000, around to about $120,000 per penny. This year went up close to $3,000 to $123,000. Our open space tax is consistent at 4 cents, which will raise $491,000 and change associated with the open space tax fund. And with regard to our fund balance at the end of the year, we do have the current fund. We don't have any utilities in this municipality. So right now, this budget appropriates or reinvests $1.9 million of our fund balance, which is a consistent level funding from the prior year. If you were to increase that beyond $1.9 million, the goal for a CFO is to replenish that in the course of the year. So I'm very comfortable that we, as a municipality, will be able to replenish the fund balance that we've reinvested into this year's budget. The budget as it right now stands as introduced appropriates $27,000 in grants compared to prior year final grants appropriate about $83,000. Now, some would say, hey, what happened? Grant funds, grants dried up for you? No. So what's going to happen is after this budget gets adopted and the municipality were to receive a grant award, a check, something of that nature, we will then do, and you're very familiar with doing a Chapter 159 resolution to appropriate that grant. Last year we had a fire grant for about $66,000 and change that was done that way. So I don't want anybody in the public to think that grants have gone down in the town. Our capital improvement fund, last year we budgeted $55,000. This year we're going up to $120,000. When we do a capital ordinance for roads, buildings, improvements, equipment, that type of thing, we have to come up with a 5% down payment. So if you were to pass $1 million capital ordinance, we would need $50,000 of budgetary funds to do that. If those funds are not utilized, they will be remaining for you in your capital fund for future years' ordinances. This year, you could go up to $2.4 million worth of capital ordinances, not advocating that you should, But just to give you some idea of what that $120,000 does. As I mentioned privately with members of the council, that if you wanted to fully fund something as opposed to going out and issuing debt, you could also utilize your capital improvement fund for capital expenditures in that respect. This year, we're under self-review. Now, self-review is one of those situations that once, in a 3-year cycle, 2 of those years are self-review years, depending if you don't have any deferred charges and other caveats in the budget. That means that we have a little bit of an easier way of getting through the approval process. So Todd Saylor, your auditor, and I have been working diligently on versions of this budget. And as I said last night, after adopting a budget in another town, I was on the phone with Todd making some minor adjustments, which I briefed you on this evening. Todd has certified the budget. He's reviewed it. He's made his commentary. He's been your advisor here for a number of years, and he's a great individual to work with Bowman and Company. This means that when we introduce the budget tonight, assuming I have enough votes to introduce a budget, that it will be then sent down to Trenton, the Division of Local Governmental Services, and then when we have a public hearing on the 24th of June, and we were to adopt at that point, then ultimately the budget is considered adopted in the eyes of the state, and then our levy will be certified, and we'll be obviously issuing tax bills in conjunction with all the other levies associated in the course of the year. Now, one of the things that's going to be a little different this year, which I've made an offer to the administrator, he's taken me up on it, is that between now and June 24th, we're going to have a little public information session. Just the conference room is big enough, I think, for some of the residents who might have some questions regarding a budget. Maybe they don't like speaking in public. I heard there's not a lot of folks that don't like speaking in public here, but in a lot of towns that I work in, it's always a good opportunity to go page by page of this budget document that is usually foreign language to many people, and basically go through it to show them and answer questions that they might have. My job is to, Cy Sperling, the clothier, had a very famous line. He said, "An educated consumer is our best customer." And sometimes after residents have gone through this budget, they realize there's no fat, there's no fluff, there's no hidden agendas. It's simply a very boring document at times. And me being a financial geek, having done this since I've been 27, I'll be 56 this year, I like going over it. It's exciting. It doesn't really get me a lot of extra cocktails at cocktail parties because no one really cares about it. But in this setting, I always love, educating folks at the local level so that they can come and make an educated comment about the budget. Because when we're not going to have comments on the budget tonight, but during the public hearing, I'm kind of reiterating this, you guys already know this, that's a time where members of the public and certainly council members can have comments about the budget, questions and answers type of thing. I will be here for that, but I hope to also make myself available previously for that, what we call a public information session, and I think it's very helpful to the residents. So the end result is this. This budget obviously is fiscally balanced. It does raise taxes. Now, let me clarify this. It does raise the levy. We do not calculate the tax rate at the local level, even though the document itself, which will be posted once we have it certified at the state, will be posted on our website. There's a tax calculation that it does for us, but the county does do the tax calculations. And it's a very simple equation, a numerator denominator. The numerator is the amount of levies specifically for us or other entities, divided by the net valuation taxable. Based on the information we have from the assessor and based on our levy, we're looking at a 1.9 cent tax increase. So for an average household, assessed value at $250,000, say their value stayed the same from 24 to 25, we're looking at about a $48 increase for the local municipal taxes. Those taxes, obviously, the levy will be certified after adoption, and then all the other levies will be certified, and then those will be put into our financial software so our tax collector can issue the taxes at that point. That being said, I hate to say it, but somewhat of if you like last year's budget, you're going to like this year's budget because it's really similar, for the exception of some contractual obligations, changes in debt service, and obviously our increases in our pension obligations, which is not something we can say, I tell Jim, we're not going to pay that pension. Well, you're going to pay the pension. That tax rate was 79.1 cents. I apologize. I would have been prepared for that.
No. I'm sorry. I know I sprung it up on you. I was looking at comparison from last year to this year. I think that last year the tax increase was higher than 1.9.
We were saying about I think 6 cents from my recollection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is significantly lower.
Right, and as I mentioned in the outset, we had obviously an increase in pension obligations with regard to, in our capital improvement fund, about $242,000 just there, and the rest was contractual obligations. So I think it's a very sound budget. Todd would not normally be here, but he's obviously signed off on this, and which obviously he's been working with you a long time. If he didn't sign off on it, he'd probably be here backing this budget down.
I have nothing else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
CFO.
Barrett. Approval of minutes, April 22nd, 2025, regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion for the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Maddox Canteen?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo? Abstain. Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo, what was that?
Abstain.
Abstain, okay, so there's 3 yes, 1 abstention. 1 abstention.
April 22nd, 2025, executive session minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Maddox Canteen?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Abstain.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention.
We will now open the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. Please remember to state your name for the address. State your name and address for the record. Please remember, again, state your name and address for the record. It's on there twice. I'm sorry?
Agenda items.
Just on agenda.
Agenda item.
I'll tell you when we get to the next one. All right, no worries. All in favor to close on public
Aye.
comment?
Aye.
Ordinances, second reading, public hearing, 4-2025 ordinance of the Township of West Hampton amending Chapter 88 of the Township Code entitled Animals.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to table. There was a clerical error in public notification or posting.
I second to table.
Any discussion on tabling? Roll call?
Ms. Maddox Canteen?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
Ordinance, first reading, 6-2025, calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I motion for 6-2025.
I second. Roll call?
Ms. Maddox Canteen?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
5-2025 ordinance adding Chapter 110 of the Code of the Township of West Hampton entitled Criminal History Record Background Checks. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Maddox Canteen?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
So we're going to do our resolutions separately. We're not going to do a consent agenda. So Resolution 73-25, payment of vouchers. This resolution approves the payment of bills through 5/13/2025. Do we have a motion?
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
On ordinance 5-2025, that's a second reading, so you need to open the floor for a public hearing prior to adopting it.
Do we have any public comment on the criminal history background checks? Any questions? Certainly, ma'am.
Lori Hustis, 14 Canopy Drive. What exactly is it?
It's criminal history record background checks.
Okay. Who's it being done on?
So, Mayor, would you like me to give a brief summary of it?
Certainly.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
So, this is an ordinance to allow the township to require any adults that are dealing with youth sports to undergo a criminal background check. It'll be conducted and overseen by the township, and any coach or supervisor, referee, anyone of that nature would receive a verification that they've undergone it and cleared the background check
Okay,
prior to
great.
coaching.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. Now I can move on to resolutions.
I'd recommend having another vote on approving the ordinance.
I will make the first motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Canty.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
Roll call.
Ms. Maddox Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Thank you. Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
We will now start with the resolutions. Resolution 73-25, payment of vouchers. This resolution approves the payment of bills through 5/13/2025. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Maddox Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
5 yes, motion passes.
74-25, resolution approving tax appeal settlement with UHS of Hampton, Inc. on property located at 650 Rancocas Road, Block 202, Lot 4.01 and 4.01 qualify. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Maddox Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
Resolution 75-25, resolution to introduce the 2025 municipal budget.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Maddox Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
Resolution 76-25, resolution authorizing support of solar renewable energy. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Maddox Canty?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Mungo?
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Yes.
4 yes, motion passes.
We will now open the meeting for public comment. Please remember to state your name and address for, sir. Sir.
Sir?
Open.
Thank you. My name's John Anderson. I live at 720 Woodland Road over at Fernwood Spring Farm. And I'm glad to see that people are talking about in-person public participation in township affairs, which favors New Jersey Administrative Code 5.39.1, except the planning board does not allow in-person public participation, and you guys should kind of rectify it. That's my first issue. And the second one is, have you been down to Timbuktu lately and seen next to the graveyard, the abandoned house that's boarded up, covered with graffiti, which is disrespectful? I hope the township addressed it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Gary Rivera, 138 Winstead. My comment is, I had reached out to Chris. I was asking about whether in receipt from Burlington County, the commissioners, the supervisor of roads report. And Chris shared with me that he had not received that report. The reason why that's somewhat significant is because, according to the press, I believe that Burlco commissioners did pass their budget. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if they introduced it or did they pass it.
It's introduced.
Okay, introduced. I had inquired about what spending package the supervisor of roads had planned potentially for any projects here within the township. So in other words, county infrastructure within the township. They were supposed to provide that. According to the last time I had gone to a meeting, that report was being prepared and supposedly information was going to be made available and then theoretically shared with officials here within the township. I sort of assumed it was Chris that was getting that information. According to what he shared with me, he did not receive the information. So I think it would be helpful as we're planning and working on the budget. I know the fat budget's been introduced. I don't know if we're going to go to a skinny budget at some point, but I think it would be helpful to know if there's any spending going on by the county for any roadway here within the township. There's a couple of reasons for that, but primarily, and one of the reasons why I reached out to Chris was because behind my property on Springside is a bike lane that's owned not by us, but by the county. Now, as near as I can tell, that has not been maintained probably in 30-plus years. It's in bad shape. It does need, potential repair, resurfacing, etc. The issue is that as part of the repaving in the developments, that bike path has been cut into by the contractors. So they've degraded that bike path. according to whatever their civil engineering plans dictated that they had to follow. So a bike path that is way overdue for repair probably should have been coordinated with our contractors who were going to effect the repairs in conjunction with the repaving, et cetera. So now they're potentially going to have to kind of reduplicate the work in some way, shape, or fashion. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Just from an efficiency standpoint, from an economic standpoint, I'm just bringing it up to just illustrate the reason why I'm even mentioning this. So, we've got the liaison folks. I don't know if you want to deploy them in this situation to see if they can, formally ask. Otherwise, I know that Mr. Brady's job is to be the liaison. So if you want to come up with some mechanism where we can work with Mr. Brady to act as liaison to bring this up to the county, I'm certainly happy to do that. Me as a private citizen going there is going to have no impact. Zero.
You called this the supervisor of roads report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. We'll now have a motion to close public comment.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Needs to remember, Recreation Committee meeting is March 14th at 7.
Nay.
What did I say?
March.
You sure?
Yeah.
I didn't. You did. Recreation Committee meeting, May 14th at 7 p.m. Next Township Committee meeting is at May 27th at 7 p.m. Historic Commission meeting, May 28th at 7 p.m. Land Development Board meeting, June 4th at 7 p.m. Committee liaison reports?
I'd just like to speak to Gary's comments. And while it's not hard evidence, I know the mayor did receive complaints about some raw materials being posted next to your neighborhood, and after some inquiries, it seems like they're getting ready to pay within the next 90 days.
Yeah, the main street, but not the bike path.
Not the bike path, okay. But that's it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'll look into the supervisor roads report. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any comments tonight.
Just thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for the workshop pertaining to the 2025 annual municipal budget. Chris and company, thank you guys so much. The crosswalks that we had talked about so much are being taken care of in Deerwood. We appreciate that. We already talked about the rec committee meeting on tomorrow night. And Timbuktu, guys, we're preparing for a wonderful Saturday on June 14th, 2025. Sherrod and I attended Debbie Price's last meeting. It's going to be a wonderful experience of reenactments, food, music, historical legacy families of actual Timbuktu members. So we're super excited about that. And now that I will be going by Church Street again, probably when I leave here, just to see that house with that graffiti, because obviously that's not something we can have with hundreds of people coming to West Hampton for this event with the house, with that on there. So I'll be taking a peek at that. So we want to see what we need to do with that. And that's it.
Chris said he had it taken care of already.
I was just getting ready to ask. I put that in my questions to ask.
Bulldozer?
I think that's not like.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett, for, not only working on the budget, but making sure everyone was involved, making sure everyone knew all the moving parts. So I appreciate that. And, the administrative team that really worked, with that. If I can talk about the meeting that we had today briefly. One thing we talked about today is the homeless and, how we can be helpful in implementing some different things to try to get, a hold on making sure that we're being appropriate with not only the homeless, but, the people of West Hampton that live in the area, to make sure we're taking care of both sides of that. So, we discussed some light plans that we're going to look at and put into place, but I think it's important, we want to make sure that the residents know that it's something we care about. It's just something that Jamie brought forth the other day that she really wanted to address. So, obviously I think that's a part of having like a bunch of different, I've said this a million times, well, not a million times, probably 4 times, but it's very fortunate when we have people who live all in different areas of the town. So we don't let things get too far because we can see it, and then we can talk about it and bring it back to the group. So I think that was really positive. Congratulations. I don't know if this is true, but I've seen it somewhere that this is National Police Week. I might be shocking you, Chief, but if it is, but thank you for your service, and thank you for the police officers in West Hampton for making us feel safe. John's question, we dealt with the Timbuktu. What was his other question?
Public
Land
meetings,
board.
land board.
Land board meeting, I mean, that's something we can look into, but I can tell you that we have more activity in a land board meeting with the Zoom. Whenever you go on it, like last week, we had, I think, 23 people on the Zoom. I've been in the land board meeting when it was in here. I don't know that we've always had consistently the amount of people. Even, with the unpopular, with the warehouse, we had 150 people, 200 people on the Zoom. We couldn't fit 200 people in here. Not to mention that you have some of the members who are snowbirds. So when they're away, they're still able to join the call and act as a member when they're not in town. So it's something we can definitely look into, but I don't know that it helps the productivity as far as getting things done in the town and things moving along smoothly. So with that being said, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You do this.